Hello, and welcome to Tarot Cards and Tea. We are here in the Conjuring Room. I'm Tia, and in my teacup tonight, I actually have a water bottle, and it's water.
I'm Nora, and in my cup, I have an energy drink.
Very nice. You will notice that my beautiful wife has been replaced by an assistant tonight. This is Nora, my kiddo, and Sonia is just busy at work tonight. So Nora was nice enough to offer to fill in. So tonight we're going to be talking about paranormal. Nora has had quite a few experiences and was willing to share some of those with us. But before we do that, we're going to do a reading. Usually I do a 3-card reading. Sometimes 4. But tonight I was actually called to do something a little different. I think tonight I'm only going to pull 1 or 2 cards. I just have a message for somebody. And I don't know who you are. I don't even know what the message is yet, but I have a message for someone who's watching. And so we're going to pull a card or 2 to figure out what it is you need to know. Usually I pull a card to say who I'm pulling for and all of that. And we're not doing that tonight. We're doing things a little different. So if this message resonates with you, it's for you. And if it doesn't, it may not be. Well, the message I got for you tonight is the Page of Wands. So something in your life needs to begin. Something needs to get started. Page of Wands, that's a fire energy card. That's something with some fast motion, some creativity behind it. Pages are the children of the set. And so it's something brand new beginning, some kind of creative project. You've been sitting on something. You've been sitting on something and it's time for it to go. And it needs to just really go. This isn't a planning phase anymore. We're done planning. We're done thinking about it. We're done ruminating on it. It's time to go. This is, you see this person here throwing their wand into the air. Go for it. Do it. This isn't the first time that I've done a reading where this has been the underlying message that you just need to go for. I think actually a video not too far back here was one with that very similar message. So apparently somebody watching this really needs to know this and really needs to do this. So if you've heard this message once or twice already, that's maybe why. Because you haven't done it yet. So just do it. So we're reading for tonight, and now let's hear about some paranormal. I know you've had a lot of experiences, so we might have to do a part 2 at some point to get really all of those. But tell me about one that sticks out in your mind the most. What's a paranormal experience you've had that changed your perspective on things or just really sticks with you the most?
I think 2.
Okay.
But one of them I don't really remember. It's just something that I've been told about. But I think you remember it more than me.
I do.
So there's one that I think is kind of crazy and is the reason that I believe in the paranormal, which is the one that you've told me, because you just can't make that up. And it definitely happened, and there's witnesses to it happening. And then there's the creepiest place I've been. That is something I remember as a teenager, and that's what I got filmed for and was almost on TV, which would have been really cool if that episode would have aired. But I think it's hard to pick between the two. I think what happened when I was little is what made me realize that I'm kind of a paranormal magnet. And
you really are.
I just attract spirits and ghosts and all things creepy. But I mean, I kind of love it because I feel like not everybody has that ability. And I feel like people that can communicate with spirits, it's for a reason, like either to help them cross over or to get a message across.
Yeah, you have had paranormal experiences since birth. Do you mind if I tell the first story?
Yeah, I obviously was not like old enough to remember. I just know what you've told me. So
okay, so Nora's first experience with the paranormal. Nora was probably a year and a half old, so very little. And we lived in a house. It was a very old house in a very small town. We didn't even live in the very small town. We lived outside of a very small town. And Nora's father passed away when Nora was about 6 weeks old. So Nora doesn't have any conscious memory of him. We didn't really have pictures of him around the house. We didn't really talk about him. there was no one in our lives that Nora called dad. And so it wasn't a word that got used a lot. So anyway, that's just a little backstory for this. But on that particular day, it was in the middle of summer, so it gets light or it gets dark later here in the summertime. And it was getting around bedtime for Nora. And so I took them into the bathroom and was giving them a bath, getting them ready for bed. And so when we went into the bathroom, it was still light in the house. And so I hadn't turned any lights on yet. But during bath time, it kind of got darker. And so when I pulled them out of the bathtub and I brought them into my room to get into their pajamas, I flipped on the light in my bedroom, but the rest of the house was still dark. And so I'm sitting on my bed. The doorway to the bedroom is behind me, kind of behind me this way. And you can see the dark house behind me. And Nora is standing up on the bed in front of me, and I was getting them into their jammies, right? And so Nora's standing facing me, so also being able to see the rest of the house. And they're looking over my shoulder and they go, Daddy. And I said, what? And they pointed and said, Daddy. And they pointed over my shoulder into the dark part of the house. It was just the two of us living there. So it's this, empty house, supposedly. And so they pointed over my shoulder again and said, Daddy. And so I grabbed kiddo under one arm and diaper bag and keys in the other, and we just left. The house that we lived in was half mile maybe and around a corner from where Nora's dad passed away. And so it was very, very close to the scene of where that happened. And yeah, it scared me. It scared me. I'm not generally afraid of ghosts, so to speak. The house we live in is haunted. We've shared that on here before. So I'm not really afraid of ghosts, but that one spooked me. You spooked me. Didn't happen again in that house. Nothing like that happened again until Nora was much older. But that was my creepiest haunting and your first experience with haunting that you were able to share anyway. But yes, this is not your first foray into telling ghost stories to a camera. So, so I want to hear about your creepiest experience.
Yeah, it's interesting because it was probably the first time I was like genuinely scared. I don't really get scared by paranormal things because to me it's not creepy. It's just like, especially if you're choosing to go to a place that you know might have spirits, I don't understand why you'd go there and be terrified. Like, that's their home, that's their space. So I don't ever go into anything super terrified, but I do think you shouldn't go into things super naive thinking you're not going to have experiences, because that's exactly what I did, because I was 15 and I wasn't really thinking anything through. I was just with a family friend on like a 2-day paranormal exploration, and we went to different places each day. And I was warned that the first place we went had a super nice, warm, inviting energy. And then the place we went the second night was not as nice and not as inviting. And I knew that going into it, but I also didn't think anything was going to happen. And then I got sick pretty much immediately after entering the house, because when you experience paranormal things, everyone experiences it differently, but people that are super sensitive to things like that can actually have physical illness symptoms like being dizzy and short of breath, and your head hurts and you feel overheated, or suddenly you're freezing. So I had things like that the entire experience, and I was basically shoved down a flight of stairs, and I had to be caught and like held back so I didn't fall, because I got lightheaded and dizzy and like felt like someone pushed with their hands on my lower back. And when I turned back around, there was like nobody near me. There was like people rushing to catch me, but nobody close enough that they could have shoved me. And obviously, who would do that? So I was like, okay, creepy, but that's fine. And then I found out later that the spirits that haunt that place, basically every member of that family died in the home or on the property. And one of the people of the family that is like haunting the place, they are attracted to young girls specifically.
Oh, wow.
So anybody who's like a teen to like, early 20s, they just tend to experience things more. And it was super validating when I got filmed because they did an experiment where they set up a camera in the most haunted room in the house. And the goal was to sit in the room for as long as possible and be filmed in complete darkness. And I was almost positive that there was someone walking back and forth behind my chair. And I could literally feel someone like touching the back of my neck and like breathing in my ear. And it scared me so much that I was in tears and I was hyperventilating, and it was terrifying. But they said that the other people that did the experiment had the same thing. So that's super validating that like they filmed 3 people and all 3 of us were like, yeah, there's someone standing behind me. That's creepy. And then I basically, the last time I went back into that house, I tried to be confident. Like, it's okay. I'm not scared. I'm not going to let this energy affect me. But me and the family friend I was with, we heard like a very loud growl. We started to like walk up the stairs, and we had just got done saying like, whatever's in here, you don't have authority over us. You can't harm us. We're not here to threaten you. We just want to get to know you. We want to, see if there's anything we can do to help. And there is a very, very deep, like kind of demonic sounding growl. So that was the last time I was in that house. And then they contacted me to film, and I was almost reluctant, but I was like, that'd be so cool actually if I could like share my story. And I could go on for like 2 hours about all the details from that night. There's
Yeah.
just so much. But some of the audio recordings that we got, you didn't even need to hear the recording because all 12 of us heard it in real life. So that is the most haunted place I've ever been. And it's basically just a haunted family estate in the Bay Area. And it looks super unassuming and not even that creepy. And then you go in, and it's the darkest energy I've ever felt. And I've grown up in haunted houses, like really creepy houses, and I don't even know if I'd go back to this place for money. It's scary.
Now, is this place a place that's like open to the public, or do people live there?
So it actually is owned by the Hayward Historical Society.
Okay.
And I think, because I tried to look into if you could still do tours, and I want to say it's actually closed right now, like you can't go there, but you used to be able to pay for weekend tours. So it was like
Oh,
$70, and you could go to the Meek Estate and the McConaughey Estate. And the Meek Estate is super nice and warm and inviting, and it's like little kid spirits. And so I got to play games. Like we brought out the Simon Says game that lights up, and we would say, hey, if you're in the room with us, make it red, and it would light up, and it would clearly be like little kids laughing and like running around and super cute. And then the McConaughey estate is not as cute, not as friendly, and the entire place is haunted and creepy. And I actually was having visions of the family that lived there before I even saw their pictures. So I feel like they love me there. They got attached to me immediately, and I was able to describe what everyone looked like. And I even knew like letters of their names. Like, oh, there's someone here that starts with an A, and he has dark hair. And I like pictured him in his suit and button up. And then I saw the family portrait. I'm like, yeah, that's him. That's the creepy dude that was touching on me in the attic. And
that's not good.
no, but the team that I was with, we were with an actual like paranormal research team, and everyone had the same symptoms as me. Like they had to walk me out of the attic and outside to get some fresh air. And then if you watch the video, because it's on YouTube, the video of this exploration, all of the APRA team was pretty much feeling the same symptoms. Like, oh, I feel dizzy. I get it. Like, I don't feel good either.
Yeah.
So they all had to excuse themselves. So something about the energy in that house just takes over, and you feel it the second you walk in.
Yeah, that is insane. Do you know anything about the family that lived there? Like why it's so haunted, or?
So I don't know too much. I know one of the family members, Archie, I think, I'm trying to remember the exact history, but basically one of the McConaughey brothers got super injured in a farming accident. He was run over by his own equipment, and he didn't die immediately. He died 8 hours later, like in the house.
Mm.
The last McConaughey brother lived there until the 70s, and he passed away peacefully in his sleep in the home. But every member of that family, if I remember correctly, died in that house or on the property of it.
Oh, okay.
And there was like 5 siblings plus the parents. So I don't know if they were like a nice family or a warm and inviting family, or if they weren't. I don't know if they were like assholes in real life, but he's an asshole in death because he is rude and he will make his presence known immediately.
Is he
And
the guy who died of old age in his sleep, or the guy who was run over by farming
I think
equipment?
he's the one that died of old age, if I
Really?
remember correctly. Yeah. I'm
Okay.
pretty sure he's the one that just outlived everybody and lived in that home. And
Yeah.
now the historical society has it, but you can go in his bedroom and just, he does not like it. That is the most haunted room in the house. And that's where they do a lot of the experiments because it's where their most activity is.
So he's just been bugged by ghost hunters for decades then, and is just annoyed by everybody maybe coming
I
into his
think
property.
he is. Yeah, I think he hits on the young women, which is why he's so close to us and follows us around and wants to be nearby. But he also just generally seems kind of annoyed by everybody's presence. And I don't blame him for that. I would be too if I was just trying
Yeah.
to live the rest of eternity in the house that my family owned. And all of a sudden, there's like tons of people with tons of equipment. And
Yeah.
I mean, he passed in the 70s, so he doesn't know what any of this is, or, you
Yeah.
know.
He just knows there's people in his house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he'll tolerate a pretty girl, but he's not interested in anybody else.
Yeah, no, he does not seem to like anybody, but he is
Okay.
very drawn to like teenage girls and like young women. He will not leave us
Gross.
alone.
Gross. Is it too late to cancel him? I mean, I know he's dead, but is it too late? Okay, well, that is an incredibly creepy, unfortunate series of events. And yet, despite how scary that was, and despite how sick you felt and what a horrible experience it did not deter you from being interested in the supernatural because you have been enjoying asking for and going on ghost hunting excursions ever since.
Yeah, yeah, I love it. Honestly, like
Yeah.
yeah, that was creepy and it was terrifying, but it also was super validating because I was with a group of 12 people. And so my entire life, I've always just been dealing with paranormal stuff, but like internalizing it.
Yeah.
And so, like, when our family friend Diana passed away, she was like my real connection to the paranormal. And
Mm-hmm.
she passed when I was 9. And so I spent my whole first 9 years like being comfortable talking about that sort of thing and being open about it and having
Yeah.
experiences and being able to share those experiences. And then when she passed, I kind of felt like that was one of the only people that knew what was going on and believed me and could also be a part of that because she read tarot cards and she had experiences and she
Yeah.
believed in that a lot. And so I spent probably 5 years like just having experiences but not talking about it and not really feeling comfortable opening up about that sort of thing. And then having another family friend who was into that was kind of cool because then she's like, "Oh, you're into the paranormal? Like, I love the paranormal." So she bought me a whole investigation kit with like a camera and
Yeah. I
the
remember
EMF
that.
detector and, your first little ghost paranormal setup. And I thought that was super cool because I
Yeah.
love filmmaking, I love recording things, and I'm attracted to spirits or they're attracted to me. I don't know which, but I just thought it was cool to share those experiences and it was really validating because
Yeah.
everybody there, it's like, no, I saw it. I get it. I feel it. Like, me too.
Yeah. I'm really sorry that I didn't do a better job of making you feel comfortable talking about that at home. I'm sorry you felt like you had to carry all of that by yourself.
Well, I think it's just one of those things where it sounds crazy when you're explaining it to somebody. Like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I see dead people. Because when you're an empath or you're spiritual or you're clairvoyant or whatever it is, like that's constant. Like you can just walk around and like hear things and see things. And it does sound kind of crazy. So I just tended not to open up about that until you meet people that are like, oh yeah, I see dead people and I go on these ghost hunts. And it's like, oh, okay, so I'm not crazy. This is real. This is
Yeah.
happening. I just can embrace it and I don't have to pretend like I'm not psychic.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I'm not sure that I knew that that was even happening because you really didn't ever talk about it. What made you feel like you couldn't talk about that with me? Because I certainly have experiences with supernatural too.
Yeah, I don't think I realized you had those experiences. I just don't think we ever talked about it.
Yeah, I don't think we ever did.
So I think just seeing my dad as a kid was the only thing I really knew. ever happened in your life. So when other things happened to me, I just never really thought much of it, like enough to bring it up.
Okay.
And then the older I got, the more experiences I started having.
Yeah. Well, I'm very sorry that I didn't do a better job of creating a space you felt comfortable sharing that in. That I feel bad about that, and I'm sorry.
For some reason, I
Um,
feel like Dinah was like my one connection to that sort of thing.
yeah.
So I think after she passed, I just didn't put much thought into it anymore
Yeah.
because that was just our thing. Like we talked about ghost
It
stories and
was
we
your
read
thing.
tarot together, and like that was just such a big part of her life that it kind of became a
Yeah.
huge part of my life. And then I guess I just tried not to think about it after she passed because, like, no, that was just something her and I did. And
Yeah. That
that
was
was like
special.
our special thing that we did together. So
Yeah.
then it wasn't until I got introduced to Jen and she was also super into paranormal and things like that that I started opening up more. I'm like, oh, yeah, I can still enjoy these things and I can
Yeah.
still have that a part of my life. Like, just because someone else, it was a part of their life and they've passed, like that does not mean that I can't enjoy that. If anything, it's like more of a connection that I have to that person.
Yeah.
Because I did have experiences after Dinah passed, like being in that house, but I just, yeah, I never really opened up, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry you weren't able to do that, but I'm so glad that Jen reopened that door for you and that you were able to have those experiences again. I hated the experience you had at the McConaughey house. I absolutely um, had some regrets actually after that of letting you go because of how shaken you were when you got back. 2 days with no sleep and just pale and sick. And I felt like a bad parent for letting you go on that particular tour because I don't think there were any other kids, were they? It was
No.
all adults and then you.
Yeah, I was the youngest one, and I feel like that's even more proof of how draining that place is just on your energy and like
Yeah.
just everything as a whole, because you could see how sick I was when I came back.
Yeah, no, you looked
And
terrible.
I don't think it was just from lack of sleep. I think it was just that house made me so physically ill
Yeah.
just being there.
Yeah, I know I had some serious regrets and felt like just a neglectful parent for having let you go on that because of how you looked when you came home.
Yeah, it's scary. They make you
Yeah.
sign waivers to go into that place because of how dangerous they claim that it is.
Yeah.
And I didn't take that seriously at all until I went in.
Yeah, and I didn't really either, and that's because you and we had done ghost tours over and over again when you were growing up. We did the one at the library and the one at the cemetery, and Nevada City we did one, but those were all so kind of dramatic, like cheesy dramatic, where it was somebody just kind of following you around and making noises and stuff. So I guess I didn't realize how real this one was because I've been on a lot of ghost tours even without you, and 90% of them were just not like the places that we were. They weren't haunted. There wasn't really any energy there. The exception to that was the Conjuring House, the farmhouse in Connecticut. That was real, and I'm thinking it was maybe similar, not as extreme as the one you were at the McConaughey house, but similar in that I just constantly was hearing something. Candace got touched. My sister was with me on that one, and she got touched a few times. So there are. I think that level of energy in a house is actually kind of rare. So I was also surprised when you had that level of experience.
Yeah, it's scary. And there's like children spirits that haunt that place too. And I honestly believe that they're even scared of the energy that's there because we were doing a voice recording session trying to pick up whatever we could, and there was 12 of us in the room including the investigators and then everybody that signed up to be there, and we all heard a little kid's voice say "uh-oh," and it was so loud and clear we didn't even need to play the recording. We all heard it, and it was so loud that we were like, wait, is there a kid here? Like, what's we all like looked around like, who is that? And then all of a sudden you could just feel the energy shift. And so our theory is that the kid spirit like felt the other spirit coming and was like, oh, oh, like that's how it
Yeah.
sounded. It sounded like a really disappointed and kind of concerned, like, uh-oh, somebody's coming. Like,
Yeah.
and there was a big energy shift like right after.
Part of me is like, oh, that sounds terrible, and I'm so sorry you went through it. And part of me is like, I kind of want to go.
I would go back, but I don't even know if they're allowing people back right now.
Yeah.
But the entire story that happened to me, they tell that on tours now. Because I went back twice after that event happened, like once just to go back for fun to see if anything else would happen, and then another time to get filmed. And when I went back the second time, they started to tell my story. They were like, yeah, this really crazy thing happened one time. And then the tour guide looked at me, he's like, oh, wasn't that you? And I was like, that was me. Yes, I am her.
Yeah, that's kind of cool actually to be included as part of the tour.
Yeah, I mean it was honestly like hours and hours of like crazy things right in a row, and I think it was like everyone could see what was happening, so there was so much proof that they're like, yeah, we got to tell everybody about this cuz
Yeah.
look at this crazy event.
Yeah, and you mentioned that there is video on YouTube.
Hmm.
Can we link it in the comments when we post this?
Yeah, the investigation team is really cool actually, and they investigate all over the world. And it's the American Paranormal Research Association. So I don't know if you want to put a link to that video or to the channel, but it's the McConaughey Estate in Hayward. So it's pretty easy to find the video. It is a little embarrassing because I was young and super dramatic, but if you were there, you would get it. It is creepy. I don't think I'm dramatic for no reason. It is a little embarrassing to watch myself cry and have a panic attack on camera, but spend 10 minutes alone in that house and you'd probably do the same thing.
I don't doubt that a bit. So yeah, I will link that in the comments if you want to see little Nora on a pretty intense ghost investigation. And yeah, I think that was a really good story to share. Thank you so much for being willing to be a guest, for filling in for Sonia. My wife is very busy during election years, and so um, is potentially going to be absent from one or two videos throughout the year. And so I'm glad Nora was able to fill in. I have another friend who might be willing as well, my skeptic friend. I thought it'd be fun to have a skeptic on. She is only skeptical when things are going well. When she's struggling a little bit, she's a little more open-minded. She's asked me for a rock once or twice when she's having a bad time. So it's amazing how that works. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for joining us. If you have any questions for Nora, if you have any questions for us, please put them in the comments. And I am open to doing paid readings now. I've started to do that. If you're interested, drop a comment, drop us an email. Those things are linked on our YouTube channel. So hope to hear from you. And if not, hope to see you soon. Take care and cheers.
Cheers.